Hey everybody, happy summer. You guys have been requesting new Flash Season 4, so we're going to talk about the future Flash, not the Barry Allen future Flash, the true, literal future Flash. There's a Flash Ring giveaway that's going on right now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. It's new every week. Season 4 stuff is getting ready to get started, so we need to talk about the real future Flash. So the TV show did a Season 3 version of the Future Flash that was from a couple years in the future. There was just a time remnant of that future version of Barry. So when he called himself the Future Flash, technically he was right. In the comics, the real Future Flash is technically thought of as Barry Allen from 20 plus years in the future, who's got a much stronger connection with the Speed Force. He's got blue lightning, and he's super hardcore from the New 52. There was even a version from around the year 2050 on Legends of Tomorrow that we heard from that was trying to warn them about Savitar in a roundabout way. It might sound kind of funny, but there's always going to be another future Flash. When you're talking about Flashes from the future, there are a lot of them. Mark Waid introduced a billion different versions of the Flash. Some of them were not popular, that's why you never hear about them anymore. They tend to stick with the favorites in the comics. Don't get me started on multiversity too. The multiverse is a whole different thing. We're just talking about our version of Earth. The ultimate version of the future Flash is actually Bart Allen from the 30th century. He's from further in the future than Eobard Thawne is, who is the current record holder from person furthest in the future. In the comics, it's the 25th century. I believe they quoted 23rd century on the TV show. Just a small change, maybe to make it a little more believable. Like, we don't want him to be from 500 years in the future. We want him to be from 300 years in the future. Somehow that makes it more believable. So around episode 2021, they did this big running gag where Barry thought his name was Bart because that sounded cooler. So it was just their way of winking at the idea of the Bart Allen character from the comics. Like, oh yeah, we're probably going to do this at some point in the future.
Why can't I remember my name?
Your name is Barry.
My name's not Barry. You know what my name is, but my name's Bartholomew Henry Allen. That's not a good name.
Look, Barry.
Are you sure I don't go by Bart? Bart feels more natural to me. Can we go with Bart? Bart's kind of cool. Okay.
But the problem with that is that you get into the lineage of Barry Allen, and he and Iris haven't even gotten married yet. You haven't met their children. They have twins, and it's very adorable. They were created during the 60s. They were also not super popular, which is why you don't hear about him a lot today. Bart Allen just became super popular, so he's the one that usually keeps coming back in the comics. In fact, Bart is the one that in the early 2000s joined Jeff Johns' Teen Titans when he took over the title. It was sort of like a reimagining of the Young Justice comic book and the new Teen Titans, where all the old Titans like Nightwing just got too old and they're like, okay, you need to go off and form your own team. You can call it the Titans. We need the Teen Titans so we can cycle the roster and bring in a bunch of fresh blood. And that was part of the reason why Mark Waid introduced Bart Allen in the comics during his run, is because Barry Allen had been dead, Wally West had been the Flash for a while, he'd been wearing the red costume, he'd already become the fastest version of the Flash, he'd gotten past that mental block, but he didn't have his own version of Kid Flash. He was Kid Flash to Barry in the Silver Age for a long time, so it was like, okay, people really like that idea, why don't we try to do that again? So Bart Allen became the brainchild of recycling that idea of the Flash having a sidekick. The other part of the reason is they probably wanted to appeal to younger readers. So like Damian Wayne is all over the comics now because little kids love Damian Wayne. You're probably familiar with the lighter Motormouth version from Young Justice. When he first appeared in the comics, he was just meant to be super hardcore, super hyperactive.
Ta-da!
Well, I think we found our unknown energy impulse.
Impulse? That's so Crash! Catchy, dramatic, one word. Like Nightwing, and Robin, and Beast Boy, except that's 2 words. Blue Beetle's 2 words. Hey, is he here too?
He was born to Eobard Thawne's descendant Melanie Thawne in Dawn Allen, Barry's son. His metabolism was eating him dry, so they sent him back into the past to be with Wally because maybe he'd be able to help him. Wally, who'd become crazy fast at the time, tricked him into a race around the world, so he gave off this big burst of speed energy, which miraculously cured him. Somehow that always makes Flashes better. When Barry Allen came back during Rebirth, all he needed to do to get rid of the negative speed force in him was go fast enough. So somehow that's the blanket cure for everything for Flashes. You got a big problem you gotta solve, just run super fast, that'll clean it right up. The thing about Bart Allen on the TV show, though, is that I don't think that he's going to appear until Wally goes off and does something else. Like he goes away for a little while or a whole season. If he's not going to go on the Titans TV show, that would be the perfect time to introduce Bart. Or if Wally's not going to join that Titans TV show, you can just skip over him, cast a Bart Allen, he can be part of the team, and you don't necessarily have to deal with a lot of the continuity issues. That's only if they want to keep Titans as its own separate thing in a separate universe. Part of the problem with the Flash comics, though, like I said, there's a billion different versions of the Flash. There's people from different realities. There's people from the future. There's people from alternate realities where the timeline has since changed and they've been retconned. Is that there has to be a logical reason that he needs to come on the TV show. What is his purpose in the story other than to stand around and be another version of the Flash? Like, you don't want 3 versions of the Flash, then there'd be nothing the Rogues would be able to do to stop them. So why don't we call this the Sith rule of the Flash? There can only be 2 at any given time. That's probably all the space they would have in the narrative too. That's why you don't see Jessie Quick in every single episode. She comes in for a little while, she gets a couple lines, she gets to do some cool stuff, then she goes back to Earth 2 or Earth 3. Same thing with Jay Garrick. But if you keep him around for a long time, then you run into story problems. Like, why is it that there's crime in Central City if there's 4 versions of the Flash standing around? Are they being lazy? Is there a Rogues convention in town? So it's just easier when there's only a couple versions of the Flash. And even as Wally starts to get better, his time on the show will be running out. Just because you get too OP, there's no villains that can challenge you. So just like you eventually leave your parents' home, Wally will have to go to college, go to Titans, or go to another TV show. So let me know in the comments, how do you think long-term the TV show is going to deal with Wally and Bart Allen? Because I think he's way too popular for them to not bring Bart Allen on the TV show at some point. Even if they simplify his backstory, they've teased him enough, they gotta bring him on, and you can't keep Wally around forever. I think he has like 1 good season left in him, and then he goes off to another TV show. Otherwise, he goes to another Earth, and he becomes the Flash of that Earth, and then just comes to guest star on the show every once in a while. Because it's really cool to have Wally around, but if you don't have a really big storyline to service his character, then there's not much point in having him around. Because eventually, Barry and Iris are going to start their life together. They're going to be busy doing their stuff. Wally will turn into the third wheel. Like Joe has Cecile, everybody has something to do. So Wally will either have to go back to Earth 2 with Jessie Quick and they'll be on that Earth together, or they put their money where their mouth is, they tie Titans to the Arrowverse tangentially and let Wally go on that TV show. Because if it's a race between Wally and Bart and you can only do one of the other on each of the shows, then I'd rather them introduce Bart Allen on the main show, let Wally go on Titans, and then just let them cross over every once in a while. Because if there's anything that they've proven from all these Arrowverse shows is that the Flash is killing it. People love the Flash. People love any version of the Flash more than they like the other TV shows. So he is like the Batman of the movie universe. Like, Batman is super popular, you put him in a movie, people who would never go see a comic book movie will go see that movie. How do you get more people to watch Legends of Tomorrow? You put a Flash on it. It just happens to be the reverse Flash. Regardless of what they decide to do at the end of the day, what they'll probably do to introduce Bart Allen on the TV show is just introduce the idea of Barry and Iris having children and then getting a flash of Bart Allen. Whether or not they actually want to bring him on the show before season 5 or season 6, it might be a while before we see him, but we will eventually see him. It's just a crazy idea. You know, you already got Eobard Thawne from the 23rd century. He has this crazy technology. So when they do bring him on, they'll probably have to simplify his backstory just a little bit. But he'll still be part Thawne. I just love that idea. When he goes up against Eobard Thawne, he is so mad that he shares blood with the Allen line. Like, that's how much he hates Barry Allen. But leave all your requests for Season 4 videos. There's so much stuff that we got to talk about from the comics. There's also the comic book stuff that's going on right now, separate from what the TV show is doing. So I'll probably do a couple bonus videos for that too. There's a really cool new female evil speedster named Mina. She's called Fast Track. So I don't think the TV show is going to do her anytime soon, but she's really cool. My next Flash video will probably be more comic book based, but you guys have been asking for a new Infinity War, so I'll try to post some of that really soon too. Congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Caleb Burleson. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. While you wait for everything, you can click here to learn about the Black Adam Shazam stuff that Legends of Tomorrow is doing, and you can click here for brand new Flash. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I will see you guys tonight.